He had the cape, he had the lightsaber, he had the helmet with the cool voice filter thing that made him sound like he was ordering death with a side of fries. Kylo Ren had everything he needed to be the next great villain. And somehow, he ended up feeling like that one emo kid in high school who threatened to run away every week, but never made it past the driveway. From the first moment he appeared on screen, we were like, oh snap, this dude just froze a blaster bolt in midair and stared down Poe Dameron like he was waiting for an apology. We thought we were getting the next Darth Vader. Turns out we got a guy who smashes computers when he doesn't get his way and calls it character development. And yes, I know he has depth, but it's buried under about 40 pounds of daddy issues and bad decisions. And then there's the helmet thing. He wears it, then smashes it, then glues it back together like a Sith arts and crafts project. Meanwhile, his entire personality is just guilt mixed with temper tantrums. The guy is basically a force-wielding Pinterest board for unresolved trauma. And somehow we're supposed to root for him because he cries in the rain and wears high-waisted pants. I mean, imagine being the child of Han Solo and Leia Organa and still managing to be the least interesting person at the family reunion. You've got space royalty in your blood and force potential through the roof. But instead of building a legacy, you spend 3 movies mood-swinging through hyperspace and getting dunked on by your ghost grandpa. And yet, there's something weirdly fascinating about him. Like the writers almost struck gold, but forgot how to mine it. He's not bad enough to hate, not good enough to love. He's just there, floating between arcs like a lost intern on his first week at the Death Star. It's kind of tragic, kind of funny, and kind of the entire problem. In this video, we're diving deep into why Kylo Ren had all the ingredients to be iconic, but somehow ended up more confusing than compelling. We'll break down what went wrong, what almost went right, and why his character arc feels like it was written by 3 people who never spoke to each other. Let's be honest. When Kylo Ren first walked onto that snowy battlefield and froze a blaster bolt midair, we all leaned forward a little bit in our seats. The design was cool, the voice modulator was eerie, and the whole vibe screamed heir to Vader with a twist. So naturally, we wondered who he was under the mask, what his story was, and how the son of Han and Leia became a dark side warrior who listens to helmet ASMR from his dead grandfather. The mystery was electric, and it set the stage for a character who might just redefine what a Star Wars villain could be. We were promised layers, nuance, and a backstory dripping with tragedy. Was he seduced by Snoke, driven by fear, angry at his parents, or trying to outdo Anakin's legacy? Maybe all of the above. The setup was there, and early moments hinted at a ticking time bomb of emotion and power. Like when he's interrogating Rey, but clearly shaken by her strength. Or when he rages at Hux like a spoiled Sith intern on Bring Your Lightsaber to Work Day. It all felt unstable in the best way. There was also that odd blend of reverence and insecurity. He's desperate to be seen as strong, yet haunted by the pull to the light, and that made him unpredictable. Would he kill Han? Would he turn on Snoke? Would he break the cycle, or become the next mask-wearing tyrant? The possibilities were wide open, and the intrigue was doing most of the heavy lifting. And for a while, that was enough. You didn't need every detail up front because the mystery was part of the charm. The fact that he wasn't a fully formed villain yet made you want to see what choices he'd make when everything came crashing down. Would he follow the dark side path fully, or tear it all down from the inside? But looking back, maybe that intrigue was all style and no substance. By the time The Last Jedi rolled around, the cracks in Kylo's arc were impossible to ignore. They smashed his helmet to symbolize growth. But he just replaced it later because the writing needed him to look evil again. They killed Snoke in a surprise twist, which could have opened up a fascinating new direction. But instead, it felt like they hit reset and hoped we wouldn't notice the gap. Kylo keeps switching between tortured soul and angsty warlord with no rhyme or reason. One minute he's screaming "let the past die" like a high school kid who just deleted his Instagram. The next he's begging Rey to join him in ruling the galaxy like some weird force-themed promposal. It's not compelling drama, it's narrative whiplash. There's no payoff to his supposed inner conflict. He doesn't evolve so much as he zigzags, and it's like every time he starts to lean one way, the movie yanks him back into the center just so he can do it all over again. Kill your father, hesitate with your mother, fight your master, cry in the rain, rinse, repeat. What really stings is how much potential was wasted along the way. Kylo Ren could have been one of the most emotionally devastating characters in Star Wars history. The son of 2 iconic heroes, twisted by fear, abandonment, and manipulation. A legacy character who didn't just fall to darkness, but collapsed under the weight of expectation. We got hints of it, Leia mourning the loss of her son, Han trying to reach him one last time, Luke blaming himself for what Ben became. It's all there in fragments, scattered across scenes that should have carried the emotional weight of a Greek tragedy. But instead, It's brushed past like awkward family drama no one wants to unpack. You see moments like Kylo hesitating to kill Leia's ship, or that flashback of young Ben Solo looking up at Luke with wide eyes. And you think, there's something heartbreaking buried in here, something real and raw that never got the focus it needed, because the trilogy was too busy rebooting his arc over and over. His story could have been a devastating fall from grace. A story about a boy failed by his mentors, ignored by his family, and weaponized by a monster in a robe. A story that could have mirrored Anakin's downfall, but from a different lens, showing us how the trauma of legacy can be just as deadly as the trauma of war. But instead of exploring that fully, we got a guy who just sort of floats through the plot. Never quite the villain, never quite the hero, and never quite the character he could have been. What makes this even more frustrating is that Kylo looked like the next big thing. The costume design was incredible. The crackling red lightsaber with the unstable blade became instantly iconic. The way he froze people in place, or ripped thoughts from minds, had a rawness we hadn't seen since Vader himself. Even his theme music hinted at something primal and mythic. A storm of unresolved chords and tension that suggested a character on the edge of greatness or destruction. He didn't just feel dangerous, he felt unpredictable, like a storm waiting to be unleashed across the galaxy. The scenes where he trains, meditates, or lashes out had this operatic scale to them, like when he obliterates his helmet in a rage, or slices through Snoke's guards in a brutal ballet of power. Those moments hint at a character who might genuinely change the fate of the saga. Someone who could shatter both Jedi and Sith traditions in one fiery blaze. Still, there's a weird part of me that hopes Kylo Ren might get a second life someday. Maybe through better writing. Maybe through animated stories or spin-off novels that actually treat him like a human being instead of a mood generator with cool hair. Because somewhere in there is a character worth saving. We've seen this happen before. Clone Wars turned Anakin from a whiny Jedi into a tragic war hero. Rebels gave Darth Maul the depth he always deserved. Even Boba Fett finally got a backstory, for better or worse. So why not give Ben Solo the same shot? Imagine a series that follows his descent in detail, that shows the pressure of being a Skywalker, the betrayal he felt when Luke ignited that saber, the manipulation from Snoke as he tore down everything Ben believed in. That's a story with actual weight, with emotional truth, or maybe even a story post-redemption. What if we saw the aftermath of Kylo's death, the echoes he left behind, the impact he had on Rey, or the Resistance, or the broken galaxy around him? There's a space for that kind of story, one that digs into guilt, legacy, and what it means to be remembered. Because under all the whining, all the flip-flopping, and all the narrative mess, there was always a spark of something more. Something that could still shine, if someone finally knew what to do with it. In the end, Kylo Ren is the perfect symbol for the sequel trilogy as a whole. Beautiful on the outside, conflicted in the middle, and ultimately hollow where it counts. A character who could have redefined what it means to fall to the dark side, but who instead became a cautionary tale of wasted potential. They gave him legacy, power, complexity, and pain, but forgot to give him direction. They teased us with growth and backstory, but never followed through. And when it was time to land the plane, they just said he's good now, and moved on like it meant something. Ben Solo deserved more than a shrug of a redemption arc. He deserved to confront his past, to reckon with what he did, to struggle for his future. But instead, he died in silence after a single kiss. No real closure, no consequences, no legacy beyond a costume in a storage locker. Maybe that's the real tragedy. Not that Kylo Ren failed as a villain, but that the story never gave him the space to succeed as a character. We were told he was complicated, but in the end, he was just confused. And that's the legacy of Kylo Ren. A character built like a legend, written like an outline, and remembered mostly for what he could have been. Thank you for watching the whole video. I make videos because of my love for Star Wars and Marvel. I've been asked countless times how I get my subtitles, and I generate them automatically with a tool I built. That same tool can be used here on my website. It's completely free and doesn't require signing up. My website contains the subtitle generator that is perfect for any video. Blogging post, where you can sign up with your email and receive notifications for when I post, and also my 3 channels. Critical Analysis Hub focuses on Star Wars and Marvel movies. Critical Analysis Hub Plus looks at Star Wars and Marvel shows. And Critical Analysis Hub XP centers on video games, like The Last of Us series, Jedi Survivor, and GTA 5. Thank you for being a fan.